I heard they arrested one of the Phantom Thieves. No way. I expect him to commit suicide because he totally did that. He's a murderer. He deserved to die. Yeah, that's what's scary, because sometimes that's not true. Like in this case. That's what's scary about that kind of sentiment. Maybe they didn't actually kill someone. He can finally breathe easy now. And kill himself, huh? I guess we'll never know his motivation. And see, what's scary is people do this with real people in real life all the time. And I think this game is partly, the plot is partly designed to make you think about that. And make you maybe be more careful about that in the future, because it perpetuates a lot of unhelpful ways of being and thinking. And in interacting with other people. At the end of the day, I feel I'm exhausted. It feels like my consciousness is about to fade away.
Hey, are you alright?
Side to the rescue!
Don't fall asleep until we reach our destination. Are you listening?
Could this be the effect of the drug wearing off? The memories I thought were gone are starting to come back.
Are you listening?
I am.
Anyway, we need to talk about how to get out of this situation. Futava's monitoring of Akechi's phone has confirmed it. He did indeed have an ulterior motive.
It's on a completely different level than just that.
Not only was he trying to frame us, but he was the true culprit behind the mental shutdowns. His offer to assist us was simply a ploy to frame the Phantom Thieves and kill him. If we go into Sis's palace as he suggests, we'll likely be met by a large ambush of police forces.
See, that's the thing. They let him be caught and everything. I really don't like how they just kind of conveniently... Again, they make you act like one thing... I don't know, like they... I really don't like the sheer amount of things that this kind of skips over and is not addressed in order to make this happen. It's just brought back here. Anyway.
To think he would be this far gone. I know now what it means to feel a chill down my spine. Furthermore, he wishes to bring a police squad from reality into the palace.
If the 8 of us can enter at once, it's not inconceivable to think a larger group is possible. He may even be able to bring in vehicles or other special pieces of equipment.
So, this really was just a setup to shift the blame onto us.
He made us go after Okumura. Then once we triggered the change of heart, he killed him.
And he told us he had seen the true culprit, but it was him the entire time!
And now Haru knows that he killed her father. Oy.
The whole time he was working with Makoto's sister, he was really just some homicidal maniac. Come on, we gotta take that bastard Akechi down. Isn't that recording we got enough proof to do it?
No. Akechi is merely a tool. His orders come from elsewhere. The grand mastermind behind this all. An unimaginable fiend capable of arranging the murder of a suspect inside of a police station.
Unless we find out who that is, we will continue being targeted even if we defeat Akechi.
But what means do we have of learning his identity?
We'll have to make Akechi say it. Though once we do, that mastermind will likely eliminate us.
I think that will be the case eventually, regardless of whether or not we learn his identity. The only reason it hasn't happened yet is because we're an easy target to blame for his crimes. If he realizes that's no longer possible and abandons that plan, he may opt to kill us immediately.
Damn it! So we don't got a choice but to go with that bastard's suggestion.
But if we go into the palace like we're told, he'll get arrested and then Akechi will kill him.
Palace. The palace.
Actually, there's something I'd like to say regarding...
Aha! We can use the palace to our advantage!
What's this all of a sudden?
There's a way to get past Akechi and get the mastermind to lay off of us, all while learning his identity.
Really?
You gotta be kidding me!
If he wants to kill the guy, why not let him? That is, inside of a palace.
Yes, we could have him kill the cognitive version, all the while believing he killed the real one.
Yeah, that's it!
It seems that's our only option. Listen close, everyone. I have a plan for how we can carry this operation out.
Ever since the death of their teenage leader, the Phantom Thieves have fallen silent.
And, just as... One thing I really do like about this plan, though, is just about, how this unfolded. I like the plan itself, but what I'd rather have happened was just this all be out in the open. And then, us just acting like we don't know when Akechi's around, right? It could have been awesome even if the game didn't try to keep it from the player, and I think it would have been better if they did it that way. That's me, though.
However, the police intend on continuing this investigation until the case is fully solved.
But, okay, what I was about to say was what I really like about the plan.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to finish a few things at work.
Before I forget...
Where are they?
Before I forget about this again, what I really like about the plan itself is that it's Makoto and Futaba, the two smartest members, putting their heads together, and they came up with this plan, and it worked flawlessly. And that's awesome. And that's perfect, and I love both of them very much. And Joker inside, whenever when he sees Sai come in there, she's like, yep, my girlfriend pulled it off.
Waiting upstairs. Go tell him to come on down. I'm gonna fetch him.
And also, Futaba's probably the most... Futaba was probably the most instrumental in this, but the other half of the plan was Makoto. And, yeah. That brain of hers is probably a huge reason why he loves her so much. That he really started falling for her.
Makoto told me everything. Futaba-chan, I'm sorry that I caused you so much trouble this past summer.
Haggle.
It's ancient history now.
Man, that goddamn detective.
Look who's here.
There he is.
Hey, you big bastard.
Look who's talking, Ryuji. You're awesome.
How have you been?
Well, ghost.
You're not floating.
It truly is a relief to see your face.
Oh my god, oh my god. Okay, if you're dating Makoto, that makes that line just even more, Anyway.
I bet that moron Akechi don't even know we tricked him yet.
Still, how'd you pull this off? Isn't this guy considered dead?
You weren't told anything? I heard my sister brought him here, though.
Yeah, she came over in a taxi, dumped him off, and told me to keep him safe. It was right after they announced he had died, too. Almost gave me a heart attack.
I didn't have time to explain.
Hey, shouldn't we tell boss what really happened?
We wanted to make our enemy believe the leader of the Phantom Thieves was dead.
What?
What we did was make that enemy kill his fake in the metaverse.
Hold on a sec. Enemy? Fake? What are you talking about?
The true culprit behind all these incidents set us up. Our goal here was to determine their identity.
True culprit? I see. So you guys were going up against someone else?
It was Goro Akechi. You knew beforehand that he was the traitor, didn't you?
Yes.
Akechi himself gave us the chance to strike back. He made one fatal mistake.
Couldn't you have just said from the beginning that Akechi was the real culprit? That wasn't something we could simply bring up. We couldn't have you suspect Akechi. Besides, neither you nor the other investigators would have believed something like that, would you? True. Akechi was credited with the arrest of the Phantom Thieves. Not even I would think he was the culprit. In other words, you left him alone on purpose. That was a bold move.
God, I can't keep up with any of this stuff. So what was this mistake Akechi made? What did he do?
He slipped up in regards to Morgana's voice.
You mean a cat?
Yes, Morgana can talk.
Sorry, was that supposed to be a joke?
Oh, our apologies. That's completely true. You surprised?
Does that mean he said something just now as well?
But you don't understand him, do you? That's how it was for all of us at first, too.
When you're in the metaverse, Mona talks like a normal person. Once you hear that and your brain realizes he can actually talk, you start to understand him in reality. It's a change in cognition, most likely.
Thanks to Akechi's lame acting, we figured out something was up.
When we talked to Akechi at the school festival, he was acting like he just realized Mona could talk. But we already saw him drop a mega hint about it way earlier.
Oh, I know a place! I want to go to that huge pancake-looking place we passed on the way here!
Oh, am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about delicious pancakes.
Mona was the only one who was talking about a pancake. That meant Akechi'd already been in the metaverse by then.
And since he was lying to us about that, we assumed he had a hidden motive behind contacting us.
It seemed odd upon further thought. His reaction to my pancake comment was an honest one, after all.
You got lucky.
That said, we weren't so naive to overlook something like that. That's why we asked Futaba-chan to wiretap his phone.
I pretended to be interested in checking the phone out, but I was actually planting my app.
Very nice.
My heart was pounding while I was doing it, though.
Even that ace detective could never have imagined a program being installed so quickly. Futaba's quirky nature proved to be a great help.
That was just an act! After a few days of listening, this confirmed his betrayal.
Then I'll guide the police into her palace and have them catch the phantom thieves in the act. That would be the only way to arrest them, given their methods. I'll deal with them after that. Let me see. We could say he stole the guard's gun and committed suicide during his imprisonment. How about that? Public security questioning will occur on the first day. And with that room, my task will be simple.
Is this for real?
Yes, the guard will be one of ours. We'll have to eliminate him after to destroy the evidence, though.
So they plan to get rid of that guard from the beginning.
Even Sojiro has caught the for real disease now. Ryuji, you started an epidemic.
Well then, I will make the arrangements the day after the arrest. And thus, the dangerous criminal responsible for the mass mental shutdowns shall end his own life. When he does, you will become a great hero who saved Japan from evil. As will I, of course.
I knew he was acting strangely, but to think he was this far gone.
He's no ace detective. Akechi is the perpetrator behind the mental shutdown crimes.
On top of that, there's someone else commanding Akechi, someone with great authority. So great that they can order an assassination in a police station. That's why we had to make a move before they did.
I see.
We baited Akechi into Sis's palace, making him dispose of our leader's fake, but think he killed him.
Ah, and see, yeah, and her palace was, you know, that whole government building, and okay, and those underground cells were part of that. But it was so far away from her actual palace that the distortion doesn't look doesn't, you know, it isn't obvious.
Can you elaborate on that in more detail? What exactly happened in my cognitive world?
We're sorry for using you without your permission. Your palace had all the conditions we needed.
What conditions?
First, we required a place inside the cognitive
wait,
world
hold on.
that was the same as in reality.
It was a cognitive... Okay, they used the metaverse version... I get it now. They used the metaverse version of it. They went in the metaverse version of it, meaning not the real one. Okay, cool. Meaning that, you know, they could just go through because it's separate from reality.
That place is based on the real world after all. Anywhere that's not warped looks just like normal.
That's why nobody but the person who uses the nav even realizes they're in the metaverse.
Ah.
Back with Kamoshida, we came in from the station without even noticing.
Yeah, and Futaba was able to use the app to have Sai enter the metaverse in order... Or, enter and exit it, as well as Akechi. Basically, like, the phone itself triggered them all going into the metaverse. But they didn't realize it because there's no distortion. I really like this whole plan. It's really clever, but I just wish they didn't present it this way in the story. That they just kind of, instead of this scene and everything else before this scene, you know, immediately before it, I mean, I kind of wish they just would, you know, the stuff just happened during the points in the game. They didn't need to do this. This is probably a lot of development time went into making this work, and it didn't have to, in my opinion. I think it would have been better served if they just kept the plan. It's brilliant, but they just, you know, the discussions weren't blanked out when they actually happened and, you know, suddenly remembered at this point, and then this scene would also not be needed at least as much. Like, it literally would be like, you know, Sojiro's like, what's going on? And then we explain it to him in a much more, you know, like, And then we explained everything to him kind of way, right? And then it would not... A lot of development time would have not had to go into this. I really don't think it's needed at all. I really don't think this twist was necessary whatsoever. I think the twist of Akechi being the culprit is a good one too, but once again, that showing up earlier is fine. And like, the thing of, you know, like, I think honestly the suspense of, I'm gonna go trust my friends to have me killed, like, if they mess up, like, okay, there's a lot of, like, you know, drama here and everything, right, you know, because, it was actually a plan all along, and they, you know, it was, but, like, I feel like the twist and suspense of, I'm gonna go in there, and if any step of this plan goes wrong, I'm going to die. That, I feel like, is a much better plot point than, oh, hey, guess what? He's actually not dead, and this all happened instead. I feel like that just, it would have been so much better. Anyway. But yeah, again, I think these plot points are brilliant, but the way they're executed is not. Moving on. That brings back memories.
You totally can't tell the difference if there ain't any distortions around.
We had already investigated Nijima-san's palace when Makoto brought the suggestion to us.
I was seriously impressed by that suggestion.
That sounds more like her normal voice, Morgana's voice actress, than a lot of the other lines, I swear.
To be honest, I didn't quite understand it, but I went along with it.
I'm trying to remember what her name is. I want to say Cherami Lei, but I know that's Makoto's voice actress, not Morgana's. Cassandra Lee Morris, that's her name. It was a great idea.
Yeah, it's good we have her heading up our operations.
Makoto is normally so calm as well, but once her mind is set, she gets oddly impulsive.
I did have a bit of a rivalry forming with Akechi, but I just couldn't contain myself anymore once you became a target, sis.
Makoto, huh?
The reason I joined the Phantom Thieves was to heal your heart, after all.
Aw, yeah.
My own achievements were all that mattered to me. I was desperate. I wasn't myself at all.
Sigh hug.
I'm sorry I couldn't see that.
Sigh hug, Makoto hug. Sister bonding. Cute.
That goes for the both of us.
Huggle.
We heard from Mako-chan that you were going to do the interrogation, Nijima-san.
And regarding its location, I take it you used the data from my laptop?
I'm sorry.
Go on.
There were two things we were able to confirm while we were checking the metaverse. First, our clothes didn't change when we were down in the interrogation room.
See, this part of this scene could be completely fine without any of the, oh, it actually happened this way kind of a thing.
Second, the scenery and details outside of the palace
But this
proper were the
explanation is
same as
still
in the real
awesome.
world.
And I think still needed because they're explaining it to Sai. But they don't need to explain it to the player like we're Sai and Sojiro and don't have any. Like, I feel like that's where they went wrong.
Once we heard that from Makoto, we secretly went to check it out without Akechi knowing.
There was also one more thing we absolutely needed to make this work. A perfect cognitive replica of him in the metaverse's interrogation room.
Since he had yet to be caught, though, there obviously wouldn't be anyone in that room.
Once we saw the casino guests and police officers, we were convinced this would work.
I like the stylized drawings of all of these to go along with this conversation. It's a nice touch.
They looked no different from actual living people.
I kind of like the
After that,
cartoony
we just
simple
had to
style.
work our way into the palace like usual, while keeping Akechi in the dark.
Kudos to the artists and all the wonderful talent in this development team. As per usual.
Everything went as planned up until we defeated Sis's shadow. However, it was then that we were met with a terrifying, unexpected police ambush.
Unexpected. Literally, earlier they said, oh, we might be ambushed. Well,
As a result, even though we managed to grab the treasure, we couldn't get it out of the metaverse.
but, like, okay, see, this is another thing. To make all this work, they basically had to act stupid for a second. They literally were earlier like, oh man, they could bring in police, but they didn't prepare for that enough. And then she literally just said, hold on, she literally just said, unexpected police ambush. No, they expected that. Oh well, it's just still cool, but not these parts. It's just like, they conveniently acted stupid in order to pull all this off. That's what pisses me off. And she's acting stupid again now by saying it was unexpected. It was not unexpected. They expected this. What the fuck? Anyway.
Except that was all an act.
Okay, never mind. I take it back.
We had prepared an empty briefcase beforehand.
I'm very confused about what's acting and what's not now. But I still don't really like that. I hate the never mind, it was all... That right there. This statement right here is what is the problem I have with this.
Except that was all an act.
That didn't need to be that way. The act could just be thrown out the window and everything could have just happened as if an act was not needed except around Akechi only. And then, yeah. And maybe Sai too. Yeah, definitely Sai as well. But everyone else, you know.
This was
plus that scene of everyone going through their normal lives. And oh no, he's... You know what would have been best if... Well, okay, it would make a lot of sense that they were all very nervous. And not being, you know, not themselves because they were worried about if it was going to work right. Yeah.
We made sure before the operation that the police would be waiting to ambush us.
There's a lot of weird issues I have with this. But oh well.
And just as expected, he totally took the bait.
I love Ann's, like, more confident, tone with stuff like this. I don't know. She's awesome. The voice actress is awesome. I'm trying to remember her name right now. I don't remember it right now. But she's really cute, and she's really awesome.
Him getting captured by the police went exactly how we planned it.
And I had been interrogating him with no knowledge of this. But how did you lure Akechi into this cognitive world's interrogation room?
All I needed were the coordinates.
It seems like she used this laptop to remotely access the metaverse. Asking her about it now would drag the conversation on too long. I should talk to her later.
Akechi disposed of the fake in the palace and left thinking he
By the
had
way,
been victorious.
I love all the... I especially really love the Futaba side facial expressions there in that last one. I love these little drawings of what happened and their styling.
It must have been truly hilarious for our leader who sat idly in the real world's interrogation room.
Yep.
Surely he was acting quite cocky by himself in that quiet chamber.
Yep.
So that's why you gave me your phone. I only took it because of what you told me.
It's a shame I didn't have the opportunity to see that for myself.
I'm just glad I didn't die.
All I could do was try to handle all the messages that started coming to me on his phone. Huh. So in other words, I've been to the metaverse, albeit for a brief moment.
In our experience, there is little danger when someone enters their own palace for so short a time.
Futaba.
That's the other reason we had him give it to you. We needed you to listen to Alibaba, deceive the guard, and ultimately aid in his escape. By having you head back to the interrogation room, we could return you to the real world as well.
I mean, I had to think of some way to keep you from running into Akechi mid-assassination.
Huh. Astounding. I hadn't the slightest idea that such a grand operation was taking place within me.
Also, I love her voice so much. These sort of mature women voices. Honestly, like, a voice like this is the exact kind of voice that kind of turns me on in a sexual way. Like, damn.
I'm so glad he was able to persuade you during the interrogation. Even though we knew Akechi's plan, we were pretty worried about that part.
Why is that?
Without Sis on our side, Futaba's plan and subsequent breakout would have never been possible. That persuasion was easily our greatest gamble. We couldn't consult Sis beforehand. It was absolutely the make or break moment of the entire plan.
Still, I'm surprised you could convince me in such a short time. Were you confident you could do it?
Don't remember drugs! I honestly want to. I'm just gonna do that one.
Understandable. Either way, I can't believe you went for such a risky idea.
That's what we do. And clearly he's a very cocky person, like, you know. The way that he jumped out the window at the beginning of the game is another, like, you know, hint of that.
If we could just tell you the true culprit's plan,
I knew you'd realize the bigger picture.
That makes sense, okay. I bet Makoto's faith in that. I bet they had some private conversations about this. Like, I imagine that, you know, sometimes when they were on a date or at home in Joker's room for a while, they would probably have discussions about all of this. They'd have a heartfelt conversation about Makoto being worried about this, but being confident that her sister would listen if he just said the right things. And him being confident in her. And that's, you know, in my headcanon, that's why this plan goes off in a hitch. His girlfriend, you know, he trusted his girlfriend so much that this would work. Because she knew her sister, right? So, yeah.
Realized that our leader was telling the truth, and that there was a greater evil to pursue.
As a result, we emerged victorious.
Then the reason you kept this a secret from me was so you could catch the true culprit, correct?
Yes. Plus, you had lost control of yourself at the time.
This is stunning. All I can really do is laugh.
I've kind of figured out that you guys made Akechi kill a fake. But what did you do about the body?
The police never even checked it.
Huh?
They had a coroner working to ensure his death was reported as a suicide. That coroner didn't take one look at the scene and just passed along a falsified death certificate.
The bad guys have that much influence?
Murder in a police station would be reckless otherwise. We also knew of a possible conspirator.
Thanks to Futaba-chan's messages and the guard's demeanor, I eventually came to understand. And since the higher-ups at the police knew nothing of this, they were thrown into disarray. As a result, his suicide during imprisonment was reported on the news, just as Akechi planned.
And with that confusion, he was able to escape with Nijima-san's help.
I made sure nobody would check the morgue for his body, and thanks to that, nobody knows he survived.
Thinking back to the interrogation, though, I can't believe what they did to him. Callous use of violence and even drugs is utterly abnormal.
And being his girlfriend probably just, again, there's so many of these lines that make even more sense if they're dating. Which is another reason why I really think they were.
If he had lost consciousness and hadn't been able to tell Sis about the phone, he would have died. I'm truly glad you made it back safe.
It's close.
I almost became one of your assailants as well.
Hug. Sigh hug.
It still freaked me out when I saw the suicide on the news, though.
We made sure to live normal lives while he was being interrogated to avoid drawing any suspicion. Even with that, I couldn't help but worry for him in my heart.
Well, I knew right away that her plan worked out.
I wanted to believe, but considering what we were up against...
Ryuji's a bit on the dense and carefree side.
Can it, cat?
I had to be patient and avoid this place until things settled down. I finally feel relieved.
We knew he was alive, but it was difficult to not worry until we could confirm it in person.
Now that I think about it, my interrogation was just a formality for the head commander. What a joke, letting me interrogate someone who was meant to die. They just wanted to avoid backlash. Very well. From here forward, I will do my utmost to assist you. You saved me, after all.
That's reassuring to hear.
I'll do whatever I can to help too. Just let me know.
Sotaro hug.
Let's take a break for now, though. This old brain is pooped. Oh, and feel free to use the first floor when you guys want to get together to talk. You'll need a hideout where you can be safe. Just say the word, and I'll close shop early.
Are you sure?
This guy can't leave. Plus, you won't make much progress if people can hear you from downstairs. It's not like this place is the liveliest joint in town. It won't be a huge loss for me.
Let us accept his offer. What a great man.
Indeed, I love Sotaro. And Futaba knows all about how great a man he is, because, you know, he's probably the reason that she's fine now. I mean, if you discount us and what we did for her, I mean, he's the reason she was able to be as okay as she could be in the interim, surely, by him taking care of her.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
It's me, Akechi.
Actually, why would he know our name from that incident?
Enter.
Oh, because he made sure to sue him. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the death certificate of the principal offender, correct?
No, nothing in particular. More importantly, you've done well with regard to the prosecutors.
The cause of death for the SIU director has been settled as a stroke.
I had him work quite substantially on forging evidence. His loss should be mourned.
It was thanks to his efforts that I could enter the Phantom Thieves' interrogation room, too.
The SIU is in disarray with his death. I'll take my time choosing a successor after the elections.
At any rate, I'm now praised as a hero, and I owe it all to the Phantom Thieves.
All possible hindrances are now gone. There's no doubt that this election is mine.